The woman stumbled against Thomas Garrett's porch rail, blood soaking through her torn dress. Thomas, reaching for his morning coffee, froze when he heard a horse collapse beyond his fence. Now she stood before him, trembling, her dark hair matted with sweat and something darker. "Please," she whispered, barely audible over the wind sweeping his Montana ranch. "They're coming for me." Thomas set his cup down, hands steady despite the shock. In 30 years on this land trouble had often found his door, but this woman's eyes held something new, not just fear, but guilt. "Who's coming?" he asked, stepping closer. The sun glinted off a silver pendant at her throat, her fingers clutching it like a lifeline. "It doesn't matter," she said, backing away. "I shouldn't have come." Her knees buckled, and Thomas caught her before she hit the planks. Up close, he saw bruises along her jaw, her breath short and pained. Someone had hurt her, recently. "You need a doctor," he said. "No." Her voice was sharp, desperate. "No doctors, no sheriff. No one can know I'm here." Thomas glanced at the horizon. Dust clouds rose, riders, 3 or 4, moving fast across the valley. His ranch sat exposed, visible for miles. They'd spot it soon. "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated, eyes darting to the dust. "Sarah. Sarah Coleman." The name hit like a bullet. Coleman. Whispers in saloons, hushed tales at the general store. The Coleman gang, Frank Coleman's crew, had terrorized towns from here to Colorado, leaving burned banks and dead lawmen. "You're Frank Coleman's daughter," Thomas said. She gave a bitter laugh. "If you know that name, you know why it's too late for me." The dust clouds neared, revealing horses and riders. Thomas's hand twitched toward the rifle above his door, but Sarah grabbed his wrist. "Don't," she pleaded. "Fight them, and you'll die. It won't save me." Thomas studied her, weighing her words against his life's work. This ranch was 15 years of toil, turning wild prairie into a home. He'd buried his wife here, raised his daughter until she'd moved east. It was all he had. "Why should I help you?" he asked. "If you're a Coleman, you've got blood on your hands." Her face crumpled, looking younger than her 20-some years. "You're right. I've done terrible things, stood by while my father and brothers," she stopped, choking on the words. "But I'm trying to leave. That's why they're after me." "With what?" Thomas pressed. "Bank money. Stolen gold." She pulled a leather pouch from her dress, heavy with coins. "My share from the last job. I was going to use it to disappear." She held it out. "Take it. Just let me hide in your barn until they pass." Thomas didn't take it. He saw exhaustion in her eyes, maybe hope. "They won't pass," he said. "If they're tracking you, they'll search every inch." "Then I'll keep running," Sarah said, straightening despite her weakness. "I won't bring trouble to your door." Hoofbeats grew louder, shouts and spurs cutting through the air. 4 riders appeared, faces hard under hat brims. The leader, graying with cold eyes, had to be Frank Coleman. "Sarah," his voice cracked across the valley. "Come out now, and maybe we'll make this quick." Thomas felt anger stir, a spark he thought long buried with his wife, Margaret. She'd always said he risked too much for strangers. "Get in the house," he told Sarah. "What?" "Inside. Lock the door. Don't come out, no matter what." "You don't understand," Sarah said. "My father will kill you just for talking to me." Thomas grabbed his rifle, checking it with practiced ease. "Maybe. But I've been dying slowly out here for years. Might as well make it count." The riders stormed into the yard, dust settling like a shroud. Frank dismounted, his boots heavy, movements coiled with restrained violence. "Morning," he called, voice falsely pleasant. "Fine day for a ride." Thomas stepped off the porch, rifle loose but ready. "Can I help you, gentlemen?" "Looking for my daughter," Frank said. "Pretty, dark hair, probably scared. She took something of mine." "Haven't seen her," Thomas replied. Frank's smile was cold. "Interesting. We tracked her horse to your fence. Found it lame, a quarter-mile back." He nodded to his men, who spread out. "Tracks don't lie." Thomas's grip tightened. "Lots of wild horses around here." "Could be," Frank said. "But it's not. Sarah's got a soft spot for lost causes, probably told you she wants to change." He spat. "Too sentimental." One of Frank's men, scarred and dead-eyed, circled the house. Another checked the barn. The third watched the horizon. "Here's the deal," Frank said, voice low, threatening. "Tell me where she is, I take her home, you forget us. Or we tear this place apart." A shout came from the barn. "Nothing here, Pa." "Check the house," Frank ordered, eyes on Thomas. "I'd rather you didn't," Thomas said. Frank drew his pistol, its barrel gleaming. "Don't care what you'd rather." The scarred man reached for the door. Thomas knew Sarah would be found soon. "She's not here," he said, desperation creeping in. "Then you won't mind if we look." Frank cocked his pistol. Thomas raised his rifle, heart pounding. "I said she's not here." "Wrong answer," Frank growled. The standoff was a taut wire. Thomas smelled sweat, leather, gun oil. Frank's finger rested on the trigger. Then the door opened. "Stop." Sarah stepped out, hands raised, pouch in her palm. "I'm here, Pa." "Let him be." Frank's gun stayed steady. "There's my girl. Knew you couldn't get far." "I have your money," Sarah said, voice firm. "Take it." "This stopped being about money when you ran," Frank said. "This is about family, loyalty." "She's trying to do right," Thomas said. "Why not let her?" Frank's eyes snapped to him. "She's my blood. My responsibility. I don't abandon family." Sarah stepped forward, holding up her pendant, a worn locket. "Mama gave me this. She believed in second chances." Frank's face flickered with grief, quickly gone. "Your mother's dead. Dreams don't stop bullets." Sarah closed the locket, pressing it into Thomas's hand. "If I don't make it, remember I tried." "Sarah, get away from him," Frank ordered. She faced him, resolute. "No, Pa. I'm done running. If you want to kill me, do it. But I won't watch you hurt innocent people." "You think he's innocent?" Frank gestured at Thomas. "He's harboring a fugitive." "He showed me kindness," Sarah said. "That used to mean something to you." Frank's jaw tightened, conflict clear in his eyes. New hoofbeats sounded, not from Frank's men, but the east. Sheriff Morrison and 2 deputies crested the hill, badges glinting. Frank cursed. His men reached for their guns, but they were outnumbered. "Pa," Sarah urged, "ride out. I'll tell the sheriff I came alone." Frank stared at her, something breaking in his expression. "You do that?" "You're still my father," she said. He holstered his gun, whistled to his men. "Mount up." To Sarah, he added, "If you need family, I'll know where to find you." They rode west, vanishing over the ridge. Sheriff Morrison approached. "Thomas, you all right?" "Fine," Thomas said. Morrison eyed Sarah. "Miss, need assistance?" She glanced at Thomas, then the locket. "I have things to confess, Sheriff." Years later, Thomas saw that morning as a lesson in courage, not facing guns, but giving someone a chance to choose their path. Sarah served 2 years for her crimes. When released, she returned to the ranch, not as a fugitive, but a woman seeking redemption. She worked beside Thomas until his death. When asked why she stayed, she'd touch her locket and smile. Some choices are worth everything.